Welcome forward to part 4 of my very special vlog with my very special guest, Kennedy Prezedent Mensah, CEO of Back to the Future Music.
Representing.
Back to the Future Music.
Representing.
Back to the Future Music.
Didn't one representing.
Back to the Future Music. Back to the Future Music.
Hold on,
Back to the Future Music. Back to the Future.
Stop that! Hold on, did you actually whisper that?
What's it? Did you just whisper that? She said, what did you say? What did you do? I didn't even hear what you said. What did you say? You said representing.
Oh my days. And you know what the wickedest thing?
What's that?
Since I started the company,
Yeah.
it's myself and I've had a couple of interns over the years, and then the missus Izzy does the royalties.
Big up Izzy. Hold on. Stop. Izzy. A belated birthday greetings to you from me. I know it was your birthday. Was it a couple of weeks ago?
Last week. See, I'm getting a senior moment there. A very belated, blessed earth strong to you, Izzy. I know who is the boss in the household. So I'm just giving you the props right now. He's just basically just giving people the impression that I him run things, but anyway. Things don't run way. Yeah, we published that song too.
Anyway, big up my darling, big up Izzy. Right, go ahead.
So yeah, Izzy helps with the royalties. And then every so often I have the kids helping us with the
Hold on a second.
the registrations.
Do you get paid? Do you get paid? Be honest.
I'm the only one that gets paid.
You're the only one that gets paid.
That's because she's the only one who's doing the work now.
Oh my gosh.
And she only started yesterday.
And you only started yesterday. Well done. Oh
no, what? Well done for trying to get money out of me. It's your money, fine. So as you full-dosed it so bad, it's coming out of your next check.
I don't mind. I don't mind paying someone to do a job that is going to be well done. So it's all good. But anyway, go ahead.
So yes, so for all intents and purposes, it's me and the kids
And the family.
Yeah. So yeah, the family. So the year is 2008. It's August 2008. So it's almost 9 years to the day that we started this this journey. And so what happened was, because the way the name came about was, so I said how I was doing a what's on for Ranking Miss P.
Right.
Then Ranking Miss P falls ill on air.
Okay.
By the time that incident happened though, we'd had a bit of a falling out. It was totally my fault, because, oh gosh, I remember it like it was yesterday. I'm only going to tell this as a cautionary tale, okay? What happened was, it was Christmas time, and I think the show was on a Friday. So we went out for lunch. This time I'm working at Westbury.
Okay.
So we've gone out for lunch with a couple of clients, and I'm supposed to go to BBC London afterwards and present my what's on, and we had a couple too many of the liquid lunch, and my head was killing me. I'm like, boy, sis, boy, I'm not gonna make it today, you know. And this was about to be me getting a bigger role on the show.
Right.
Oh mate, she didn't speak to me for how many months?
Okay, I dissed the thing.
I dissed the thing. I totally dissed the thing. I didn't quite appreciate the opportunity that I had, and I was a bit above my station. So even though I understood that I had to come in at an entry level, I'm on a thing of, listen, I did how many years of Ragazine and Raddy. I shouldn't be just doing blooming what's-ons. At that time, I didn't appreciate love, rather, that she was giving me the tools of the trade. Yeah, it was that wipe on, wipe off thing. She was giving me the training and I wasn't really taking the training because I'm thinking, I've done a bit of radio, I've done my own shows, I know what I'm doing. To this day, I don't know what I'm doing. So at that time, I had no business thinking that I should be driving that show. Because she knew what she knew for a reason. She paid her dues and then some. and then some. The first black woman on BBC Radio,
Yeah.
get her own show, a
Yeah.
national station. Nah, man, she paid her dues. She knew where she knew, and I, ooh.
Yeah. I can feel
Okay,
it.
slap daddy's hand. Come on. Thank you. What do you mean hard? Where?
You said slap, don't touch. Not touch your hand.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
So,
Yeah,
so you didn't know your place.
I didn't know my place. I
Right.
didn't know my place.
Okay.
I didn't appreciate my place. And so I didn't do the show, and so we'd separated ways, and then she falls ill, and then Dr. Adebayo is covering for her.
Right.
So he covered for her for a while, and then it became apparent that she wasn't coming back soon.
Right.
So then it became Dotton's show. So he then was calling it Reggae Time, and he invited me to come and do some stuff on there. And at that time, so when I was writing, one of the biggest problems I used to find was if I'm talking about, say I'm talking about Lloyd Brown because you've got a new album out and I'm referring to it and I'm like, oh, when he did Sharing the Love back in, I go to look on the album, there's no date.
Right.
And this was a proper problem with our music. There was no dates. So I had to become a proper train spotter. So I used to I developed a bit of a photographic memory. And then to aid that, I started to collect the charts. So if you remember in Echoes, they used to have this thing of 10 years ago today,
Yeah.
5 years ago today. And
Yeah.
so I used to collect them. And then I went to the newspaper library to go to the actual copies of the Echoes, and then I started to collect the charts.
See.
So I collected the Echoes, West Indian World, Record Mirror. There's some in the Voice, but we didn't really rate the Voice chart as that.
Yeah, it was President, put me in chart position number.
No, I didn't do the chart. The chart predated me, so allow me with that.
Okay, is the Voice newspaper? Okay, this is
No.
This is Bang Diddley. And why you put my tune at number 5 this week? Yes, number 5 this week. Yes. What, £50? £50 each?
That's Lloyd Brown talking. I didn't say none of that stuff. I just said that it was. You just didn't.
I'm just giving a dramatization. Dramatization subtitle.
When we were talking about charts in England, it was the Echoes chart. If
Right.
you're number one on the Echoes chart, chances are you
You're legit.
really were
Yeah.
number one in the country. So I was collecting those charts and I was using those to date the records.
Right.
So even if the chart wasn't 100%, you couldn't corroborate it 100%. At least what it would do was it would give me a date for when that recording came out.
Circa, yeah.
So then I tried to turn that into a database. And then there's a project I've been trying to do to turn that research into a book. But every time something happens and then that book just hasn't been written.
Sure.
But yeah, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen sometime soon. So I was studying these charts. So what I did was, all right then, I look in the charts of today, and now it's the Choice FM chart that I'm looking at. So when I'm talking to Dotton, so I look in the Choice FM chart, or maybe the One Extra chart, and then a name would throw up, would jump at me. So again, it might be a Lloyd Brown, would jump at me. So what I would do then is I would take that name, go back in reggae history, look at the charts of when that name was in the charts.
Right.
So if it say Lloyd, I'd go back to say 1991, and then what would that one? Would that be For the Love of You? Love You Down.
Love You Down.
Love You Down.
Love You Down.
So then I would go back to a week when Love You Down was in the charts, and then we'd run the top 10. So we were going back to the future.
Damn. Damn.
So then, from that now, I developed a blog whereby not only would I do that now, so it might be like one that I wrote was, there was a new version of the Baltimore rhythm. How did it go again? So I went from Baltimore, I can't remember how I did it, but then I went into Frederick Douglass, and then started meandering. So it was six steps of reggaration.
Oh, right.
So
right.
I would go from one point to another point via another point. But I can't remember that one exactly, but that was one that sticks in the mind. But it was because of the Baltimore rhythm, and then I was like, okay, so who's a famous son of Baltimore? Oh, Frederick Douglass. Oh, that's a good one. And then I would find some links. Somehow I remember, I think that was something to do with Foxy Brown. Something to do with Foxy Brown. I can't remember. It's a long time ago. It's over 10 years ago.
Long time.
So that's how comes the name Back to the Future came.
Okay.
So I had this blog running. So come 2008, I have this blog that I'm doing, and it's already called Back to the Future. So I'm looking for a name of the company. I'm like, no, I can't call it Ragazine, because if I call it Ragazine, then I'm going to be limited to reggae. So like today, what I say is, I am reggae. Yeah, like KRS-One would say, I am hip hop. I am reggae. Reggae, you cut here, it starts, you start hearing. What? You know the score. You know the score. Because I'll be like, you cut here and it starts singing, don't worry. But the company, we deal with anything. So on the books, we've got an Iranian folk singer.
Rewind. How did you actually? Okay, so you're setting up the company now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So who was the first person on the books?
The first person on the books was my brother.
Okay.
My brother used to rap.
Okay.
So he was in a crew called Commonwealth, and then he started doing productions. And at that time, they were known as Silverback.
Right.
Commonwealth had a moment because there was a group called the Big Brothers. Remember Big Brothers?
Yeah.
Right, they were around just about the same time. But at that time, there could be only one. It was like Highlander. There could be only one. And they were not the one, unfortunately. So they had a deal and everything.
Yeah.
Like even to this day, when we're having an argument about music, my brother would be like, what's that? Hands up anybody who's had a record deal. So they had a moment. They played Trafalgar Square for Nelson Mandela Day. They did all this like children's TV. They had a moment. So he had a few copyrights. So while I was at Westbury, actually, I did set him up. I signed him to PRS and set up his publishing company. Okay. So he had a publishing company because he didn't want to go through the company. So when he said, well, why you don't just start your own? I started it with him and his. So basically it was his company that I started with that got me into PRS. So I was then able to do whatever research I needed to do.
Right.
Then he signed his best friend, who's just like my brother also. And it was the two of them. There were three members of Commonwealth.
Right.
So it was him, there was Mac, then there was Spoonface. Spoonface, you probably see every so often today on the TV doing adverts. At the time, he used to have his hair like this. Yeah, like this. Okay. And he had a bit of a Barry White voice.
Oh.
So he had a number one at the time that they were doing their group thing.
Insane.
Yeah, man. So like I said, they had a moment, Rusty.
Yeah.
They had a moment. So he was first, then Mac, then my cousin, who was also a singer.
The family affair.
Yeah. And then who was next? I think then was Justin. A gentleman, producer goes by the name of Self-Taught Beats. He does like hip hop type beats. Who did he work with? Like Terry Walker, Speech the Bell, who won the Mercury Prize at the time. And he also composed some music for MTV Bass. So that was a pretty good check.
Yeah.
So those were the very, 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 very early ones. And then again, one of the early ones was Shardell Roden, who I was talking to when I was at Westbury.
Okay.
Yeah, we'd spoken then, but then she went off to France and came back. So then when she came back, we reconnected.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was Peppery, whose name was Bongo Chili. Mm-hmm. Again, we'd been speaking at when I was an employee, and then when I set up mine, I think he found me. And then I can't remember how the conversation started with me and you. I think I just called you up out of the blue because I knew that Lloyd was a bit ornery. So
we're gonna put a pause on that because now he's reached to that chapter. That chapter deserves a chapter on its own. You know what I'm saying?
If you do say so yourself.
So before we go any further, this is the end of part 4 of this very, very special vlog with my brethren and my colleague, Kennedy Prezedent Mensah, CEO of Back to the Future Music.
Representing.
Back to the Future Music.
Representing.
Back to the Future Music.
That's enough. No more royalties for you.
All right. That's
not on that anyway.
That's 15. All right.
Wow.
So, soon forward.